All right, getting things ready. All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming today. My name is Rich, and I'm one of the team members behind Ultra LP. As you can see, I'm in a very windy spot in the middle of New York, while it's New York Solana Accelerate. But in the spirit of every week wanting to come on and engage with our community as well as the LPing community at whole, you can obviously hear that this is New York. Care about that. We want to continue hosting these as often as possible. And today we have a lovely featured guest here, Rick, who is going to go through some of his strategies on how to identify good opportunities. And of course, we have DRIA, who's our lead mod here at UltraSparks, which is our community to help newcomers come in and learn more about DLMM and, of course, as well as other DeFi opportunities to earn and learn on chain. Today we're running a little bit late, so we're going to jump right into it. We'll do a quick introduction to Rick. Rick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into LPing and DeFi in general?
Yeah, thank you. You can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Okay, cool. I know since you're in New York at the event, we'll keep it short and sweet. But my name is Rick. I'm just geeky to the bone. I've been like a nerd ever since I was a little kid and learned how to write code when I was 10 years old. But in recent years, I've been in crypto 4 or 5 years, mostly in Solana. And in the last year, really focusing on DLMM and understanding, using AI as a tool just to understand and become a better trader. And so we've kind of been missing the tools that we need to really be successful. And in the last 3 to 6 months, I feel like we've really got some solid tools that provide the kind of information to make much better decisions. And we always knew this was going to be the case. And here we are, like Ultra has been one of the most invaluable tools for me, at least this year. So I'm excited to share some findings.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to start sharing your screen, and Rick, you can take it away.
Yeah, before I jump into it, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Early on when I reached out, I asked if I could get access, and you were nice enough to let me get in there. And I just want to thank you guys for that, and also just for having me here. And what led to being asked to be on the show was in the month of April, I did this challenge, and I kind of want to share some how I used Ultra and how I used AI to do it. But the challenge that I did in April, on April 1st, I had this idea I had $1 billion bonk. I swapped it for Fartcoin, and I decided for the month of April, I was just going to trade Fartcoin DLMM pools. And whatever fees I got, my goal was to raise enough fees and generate enough fees that I could buy back my $1 billion bonk plus have an equal stack of Fartcoin. So that was the goal. And in the past, I was just flying blind, but now that we have better tools, I was able to have much more precision. And on April 22nd, I actually reached that goal. I was able to generate enough fees, bought my $1 billion bonk back, and had an equal size stack of Fartcoin. And so there was 2 main tools that really helped. Ultra, like for me, seeing everything on one chart aggregated, and especially things like impermanent loss, was like, it's invaluable. Not sure I could have done it without that. But I was going to talk about how to find great tokens to get into, but I think one of the things that we don't talk about enough is once you are in a token and you're in a trade is understanding where that token is going. And so really understanding chart structure is not something that anybody teaches you. I mean, there's some tools like, you can like measure Fibonacci resistance levels and things like that. But I want to show you guys a really great little hack so that you can be much better at technical analysis of your trades, if that's cool. So
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to jump over here to ChatGPT. You see us okay?
Yeah, looks good.
So what I did, actually, let me jump back here. There's a couple of X accounts that I follow, like this FinGrad is one, for example. But some of these accounts will share these visual technical analysis graphics. It's like really nice content. And so I've got a whole library of these things where I just download them all to my laptop. And what you want to do is you want to upload these to a ChatGPT chat and give it a prompt, something like, let me show you. So I'll just take a couple of these. Let's drop them in there. And I'll say, you are an expert trader and whatever, great at analyzing charts. So this is how you train a ChatGPT chat. And so what you get once you do that is the more content you feed it and the more that you train it, you can even tell it to integrate Fibonacci sequences and stuff like that. But what's great is when you have something like this, when a chart has a structure, you can do things like, and come over to like Fartcoin, for example. And this is how I would identify resistance levels, either deciding to get into a trade or out of a trade. So you take a screenshot, you just drag and drop it, and then you can just say, analyze this chart and find resistance levels. And if you've trained your bot well, it can start to actually, with pretty good accuracy, it'll start to really understand not only the chart, but it'll look at any indicators that you have open, any volume, and it really is great with telling you, okay, so like a resistance level is 135, 39, whatever. So these numbers I found are pretty accurate. And the point being is when you jump back over to your trade, whatever trade you got going on, like I've got a trade right now, I always open my trade once I decide, is the price going up or is the price going down? And that kind of informs what kind of strategy that you want to have. And so once you open it, you can kind of test your theory and see how your position's going. So I just did a USDC Fartcoin position. I can see how it's going. So I only opened this like 30 minutes ago or something like that. But it's a really great way to see, like, if you have a better idea what your token is doing and what the structure is telling you, and there's resistance levels, you can start to make your plan of what you want to execute at what resistance level. So if Fartcoin is like ranged really nicely up and down these ranges. So if it was at the top of a range, I would go in, I'd set a one-sided bid ask, and then DCA into when it drops down to the resistance level that ChatGPT informed me. And then I'd get out of that trade, and then I'd turn around and I'd like ride it back up. And so I took a small stack and just kept like multiplying it using that. So between the token analysis and Ultra, I just felt like there was way more precision in being able to execute that strategy. Full stop.
So on what kind of time settings would you want to be doing the technical analysis by ChatGPT? Like what kind of, do you look at it per day, per hour?
Usually do like a 4-hour time setting. If you get into like every minute, it gets kind of noisy, and your token analysis bot can still read it, but I think 4 hours is a good, well, I should say, let me take a step back. For a token like Fartcoin, where it's a bigger market cap, I think a bigger time gap, like 4 hours is good. With some of those meme coins, if you get something as soon as it launches and it's under 1 million or under 10 million market cap, you probably want to go to like 1 minute or even like 30 seconds because it moves so fast. But I don't really mess with those tokens at all.
So you generally focus on the higher market cap ranges. What range is like your sweet spot that you found some success in?
I think between 10 million and 100 million. Like right now, I'm really looking at Useless and Hostco as two that I think will become the next volume generators, because volume is fuel, right? So like you usually get a lot of fuel when something just launches and it pumps, right? You get like crazy volume and then it dies off. to find something that's over 10 million market cap that still has healthy volume is a little bit harder to find. And Fartcoin was one of the few where it was more stable, but it also had a ton of volume. So it's like it was printing fees all during the month of April.
And what bin steps are you generally in?
If it's like a two-sided like the one I have now, it's like 10 or 20 bin steps, just because if you're babysitting it during the day, like I found there's certain key hours of the day that are better. So I might open something in the morning that's like a 10 or 20 bin step and then watch it and then close it whenever it reached the goal I was going for. But if I'm going to let it cook overnight, it's probably more like an 80 bin step. I usually don't go above 80.
I think what you're suggesting is something that's really interesting that I thought was obvious, but I never wanted to trust and go for, which is using ChatGPT to do some of the technical analysis. Like, just how accurate is it? You know, like my gut reaction is like, I don't know, like, should I be trusting the AI with its output? And if you've tried it and had success with it, like, to what degree does that look like? What magnitude are we talking about? Is it very consistent, or sometimes you always use it? How do you think around this?
That's a really great question. And I kind of feel like approaching it the same way I approached Meteora, because at first with Meteora, I took many, many L's, just like didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing really small trades and did like tons of small trades just to like really hone the skills. And so with this, same sort of thing, like it's not costing you anything. So, try it out and sort of watch it. For me personally, I found that it's surprisingly accurate, but it's also partially because the indicators that I'm using. So like if I go over here to Fartcoin, I've got like the usual, got the RSI, I got MACD down here. I've got like 4 different indicators or 5 different indicators. I've got the Stoch RSI, which is, I really like that indicator. So it'll read these and pull that in as well. And it'll look at volume. So it's really great at pulling in all this ancillary data in addition to the price. And it'll tell you like, yo, you're in a double bottom right now. And it'll give you a couple different suggested levels where it could get to. And it'll say like, there seems to be a cluster around 141 based on historical trading. And so I say just play with it, and I think you'll find that it's surprisingly accurate.
Interesting. So you tune in some important indicators that you would think the AI needs to know as its input. You set it on, well, it depends on the market cap of the token, but something larger like a Fartcoin that you're generally, that you trade, you find success in, and that maybe has a bit more technical analysis that you're able to do more TA on. For example, a larger cap token like Fartcoin and Useless, etc. Then you put these inputs based on a 4-hour, which is what you're currently doing. Screenshot it, put it in, inform the AI that's saying, hey, you are a technical analysis expert. And then from that point on, instructed to do technical analysis to find the resistance points. And then what happens after you know that these resistance points? Do you actually open a position based on the information?
Yeah, so I'll take what it spits out and I'll consider it. Like, you ultimately have to make the decision as the human, like, what do I want to do? But I'll even take screenshots of my setup. Like, I'll go in here to like a position. I'll take a screenshot of this and I'll dump it in there and say, what do you think about this setup? What do you think about this price? And it'll tell me, like, I'll say, should I adjust this price? And it'll also, it's actually pretty good at suggesting prices. Like, you want to set this here and maybe do a one-sided. It's pretty cool. Like, it's become like my most valuable tool.
That's really interesting. Sorry, the prompt that you've given it, do you have to say like you're a Meteora expert or something, or how does it look?
Okay, so one of the greatest traders in history is a woman named Linda Raschke. Principles. So I'll tell it. Principles and integrate. So she's a great trader who is like famous on Wall Street and had a great 40-year career. So when you like tell it exactly who you want to be, you're like, you're Warren Buffett and now you're in meme coins, whatever, however you want to prompt it, but you need to feed it and train it. And so a lot of those visuals really helps it a lot. And then if you have the pro plan, you can actually save it to the core memory. So like sometimes I found with, if you wake up in the morning, it almost has RAM, as short-term random access memory. So you have to get up in the morning, you have to kind of remind it about what you were talking about yesterday, and it kind of like forgets some of the training. So you'll have to tell it, go back and review what we did yesterday.
Interesting. Okay, so you're using real AI agents to do your technical analysis and then investing based on that. Okay, well that's a really interesting take, and it's a fresh take that I thought would be obvious to a lot of people, but not enough people are actually putting it into practice. So it's great that you are giving this a shot, and we'd love to like follow along and see how this kind of measures up over time, and whether this really helps your trading or not. Have you considered like taking this a step further, where it's like maybe just automating this whole process?
Yeah, so for sure, the bonk challenge I did in April wouldn't have worked without this AI tool. But on top of that, Soul Decoder, I'm a huge fan of the Soul Decoder community and Professor and everybody, all the Chads in that Discord are helping each other out. There, a lot of them are in the Goose DAO. Like those guys are awesome at just being thought leaders and helping people get better at DLMM. So automating it is actually what Soul Decoder is. They've got like their farming bot. You can set whatever settings you want and set up a wallet and it just does it for you. Or they've got a copy trade bot, which I started using last week. I put like 6 Soul into it. And it's now up to 14 Soul this morning. Just like found a couple wallets on Dune. And so that's like automating it. So I've got those wallets to kind of like just work in the background and print, keep printing little by little, as long as you find the right wallets and the right farmer. But they've got like pre-programmed settings. Like some of the better traders will say, hey, I've got my settings if you just want to like download these and put them in. But they're really great about helping each other out.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. DRIA, do you want to jump in here? And do you have any questions for Rick and what he's doing?
Yeah, like first off, like it just sounds so cool, like what you're doing. Like I use ChatGPT a lot. I never considered using it for this, like I DLMM too. I guess. Oh, the question I had was, for ChatGPT, do you use the free version or did you actually subscribe to it? Because I know there's different plans, like a paid plan and a free plan. Would it work on the free plan?
No, works better on the pro plan, which is like $20 a month, I think.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I definitely gotta try this out too. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, and then now I just chat with it about everything. Like I'll run stuff by it, and you'll get to a point after 2 or 3 days where if you're using it all day, every day, like I am, it'll say, hey, we're out of memory. So you have to start a new chat. And so you kind of want to save your settings to the core memory so that you can go into a new chat and say, remember we were talking about in the other one? Like I need you to recall that because I don't want to necessarily start over. But the key is like,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the key is like finding some of these guys on Twitter, some of these accounts that have this kind of content, because the ChatGPT is great at reading screenshots. Like you can throw anything in there. Even it can read like small text down there. And the indicators that I would recommend is, we talked about some of these other ones, but the ATR and the ADX, like this ADX one, if you don't use it, this is a strength of trend. So whatever trend is in, but then there's the ATR, which is the volatility. I'm not sure what my chart's doing, but those are great for some of these. So like it'll tell you if in correlation with these others, ChatGPT will say, well, looks like the trend is strengthening and volatility is picking up. And so it helps you inform when a coin's gonna hopefully moon or have some sort of big movement one way or the other.
Okay, so go find some material to feed the AI to inform it on some technical analysis fundamentals. But it does run out of memory after you query enough, and so you have to restart it. Have you tried any other AI tools? I know the Google one or Anthropic with the same experiment.
Yeah, I've tried Perplexity. I mean, I tried a number. In fact, we've talked with the Soul Decoder guys about making a Discord bot that does the same thing, where you can just like put in a screenshot and it'll analyze it. So I think we're not that far away. There's actually a tool that is designed to do this, but it kept bugging out. I don't know. ChatGTP is just so easy, and I got on the phone and it's like voice command. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Okay, fair enough. Interesting. All right. I think we might have to get the Soul Decoder guys on the show as well. DRIA, do you have any other questions for Rick? I think this is like a fascinating experiment to try out. And Rick, it would be great for you to, if you could share with us, like, I don't know, in a couple weeks in time when you had a chance to really, see how this measures up to, I guess, I'd be curious to know how this would, if you were to say, for example, do your own technical analysis and make a decision, put 50% of your funds in, and then do the ChatGPT technical analysis, put 50% of your funds in, and what kind of results you would get in a controlled setting.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that my results have always been terrible. I'm not a good trader and haven't been for years. And so this is the first time I actually feel confident, like I know what I'm doing. I even set up a leverage trade for Bonk on Drift, and I used ChatGTP, and I programmed it to come up with what an A+ setup looks like versus A and B+. And so I would feed screenshots to it for like 2 or 3 days, and we never found that A+ setup. And then finally one day, like I put it in there and it said, okay, with all conditions, this is an A+ setup to open a leverage position with Bonk. So
interesting. Okay. All right. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first AI-driven DLMM platform, truly AI this time. So that's quite interesting. The team here at Ultra has been mostly focused around getting the numerical data behind Meteora, and we've been focused on indexing that right now. And so what you see on the platform is, like, of course, the front, but on the back, we're doing a lot of number crunching to figure out the best ways to help people open up positions, close them, etc. And it's a longer process, but I think this not necessarily a shortcut, but this is like a quick and easy way to kind of do some 0 to 1 analysis that, if you're new to this, you can start to learn and see the patterns in which the AI is informing. Okay, this is what the AI thinks. Over time, you can start to basically catch up to it, and get better at LPing. So I'm definitely behind all of these different tools. Let me see if we have any questions in the chat here online. Questions.
This is definitely cool, though. This is definitely something I would love to try myself soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it works as well as Rick says it works. So let us know if it continues to do well, and I'd love to get you on for a review in a little while.
Yeah, it's all on how you train it. You got to prompt it right, but if you feed it in there, it's amazing how much it can be your like personal technical analysis advisor. And I think we live in that day and age where AI is permeating every corner of our lives, and this is a great way for traders out there, since there is no training, there's no classes, no one teaches you. You kind of just have to learn the hard way, and this is a great way to like flatten the learning curve.
Yeah. Okay, well, really appreciate you coming and sharing this strategy with us. Folks, you guys know, follow Rick on Twitter, and he posts a lot of content fairly often about his experiences. And in particular today, I'm going to be posting this on YouTube as well, so you can, if you end up wanting to review some of the different indicators that Rick uses, or you want to ask some questions, can people reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to see people succeed. Like, this is a golden age of crypto, so anything I can do to help. And just, I appreciate you guys building this tool. I'm not paying anything for your tool, but it's made me so much money, and I just want to thank you and the team for building such an incredible piece of tech.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That really helps us motivate us to work harder. So really appreciate your time today, Rick. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I know today's a bit of a shorter session. We'll have Rick back on to share a bit more about his experiences in the coming weeks, and appreciate everybody's time.
Have fun in New York.
Thank you. I got to get out of this wind.
All right, Rich. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you, everybody.
Take it easy.